Welcome to the Zoom meeting. I'm having the Zoom meeting with my research students, and they will tell their names and their research area in a few minutes as we discuss and come to the point about antibiotic-resistant bacteria, which is a major issue all over the world, and a huge number of people are dying from antibiotic-resistant bacteria, infection. They are antibiotic resistant because, it's a general phenomenon for living organisms. If you try to kill them, they will fight against that process and try to survive. So what they are doing, interesting fact about the bacteria, as you know, they have plasmid, the outer ring-like structure. From genetics courses, you learn about it. In that ring-like structure, they can synthesize, they can get some genes which will help them to fight against antibiotics. And they can also change their molecular mechanism in their cell. There can be efflux. Influx is going in, efflux going out. They can have efflux of antibiotic or flushing up the antibiotic from the bacterial cell. Very interesting. About the plasmid, I already mentioned sometimes in any genetics class, if you have taken, if you remember, that plasmid is a tool. It's a tool for the biotechnologists. They can cut and rejoin a DNA sequence into it and then manipulate the cell for production of insulin and all those things. Naturally, the bacteria can do that. Bacteria can have that kind of antibiotic resistance. That's what we discussed here. So how can you acquire antibiotic resistance? That should be our discussion. That's why we are having this meeting and they're having this conference. It's supported by UK. And so basically we need to understand that when a doctor is prescribing antibiotic, and you can tell that if you ever did that, I have seen many people have been doing, someone was prescribed for taking medication, antibiotic pills for twice daily for 15 days. And he or she just after feeling better in 7 days, stopped taking antibiotic. And two things are there. They stop taking the antibiotic and throwing the rest of the antibiotics in the trash can. So two things are wrong here, we need to understand. Number one, in your body, remember, in your body is the host. Just like, all of you know about the COVID-19 and mechanism, they, when they enter, they start multiplying in our body, and that's kind of things are happening. So bacteria can multiply in our body, and that's their shelter. That's where they get the nutrients. So they want to stay and multiply in your body. So what they are doing here, they are developing some kind of gene being in your body. When they expose to that antibiotic to little dose, they can develop that antibiotic resistance, multiplying that. They can kill you, or worst case, like if it is released from our body, we are biological system, right? From our body, if it is released, somebody else can get infected, your family, friends, and all other people, including yourself. You are in danger of the antibiotic resistance. So that was wrong, okay? Second thing that person is doing wrong in throwing away the antibiotic, you are not supposed to release antibiotic in the environment because you have bacterial population, and think about wherever they are dumping it, your plastic container is broken, antibiotic is released, bacteria there, okay, of course, and those bacteria are exposed to those antibiotics, developing antibiotic resistance. And when they come back by infecting someone to our community, they can infect the people in a community, in the nation, then internationally. And I already mentioned the pathogens don't know about international borders. So they can cross from one region to another region. They can cross easily, and COVID-19 is the best proof now. And in few days, in few months, it can get spreaded all over the world. That's why scientific community, physicians, researchers, everybody is worried about antibiotic resistance. So let's start with, as I mentioned, I will ask your name, your level of, education, what you are doing, your research topic, and then you tell me about what is your idea in few sentences, like antibiotic resistance, what people should do, and with that. Okay, so who wants to go first? Anybody? I can start with maybe with Maria, because she is appearing here. Okay, let's talk a little bit about antibiotic resistance. Think about you're speaking to public, so let us know about what's your research topic, what you are doing, and then tell about your concept on antibiotic resistance. Thank you. We cannot hear you. Just make sound is mute. Something is happening. Yes, there you go. Now it's coming most likely. Say something. No, we cannot. Can anybody hear? No, we cannot hear.
No. Can go if you need me to.
Yeah, okay. Aubrey, let's start with Aubrey. Let's start.
Okay, so my area of research is aerobiology, specifically focusing on pollen and some PM 2.5 and whatnot. My understanding of antibiotic resistance is this a very important topic. It's something that we definitely need to address as more antibiotics are being developed, more antibiotic resistances are being produced from that. And so it's really important that we continue to develop antibiotics that are going to be able to beat these superbugs that are being developing, especially in places where they're immunocompromised individuals and they have a harder time fighting, or places like where hospitals or whatnot for opportunistic infections that therefore really have a detrimental effect on individuals who get these bacteria that are antibiotic resistant. So in addition to some antibiotics that are able to fight off these resistant bacteria, we should also develop some sort of technologies or use some sort of alternative way in the meantime to help with combating bacteria that may or may not be resistant in order to help with that delay in time with antibiotic resistance to developing new antibiotics in response.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Betty, you want to talk? Next. Okay.
Is that me, right? Okay.
Yes,
well, just like Aubrey said, so I'm also researching aeroallergens with the pollen. So I think antibiotic resistance as well is important, just because we do take all these antibiotics and bacteria is evolving. So I think it's super important that we put more focus into it. And like she said, I think also it starts a lot at home and it can be controlled a lot more because I think a lot of people abuse antibiotics. So, they're given antibiotics, but I think that you really should seek from professionals, health professionals. Definitely take your dosage. So I think a lot of it is abuse, and we can start with that. That as simple as that. So there's a lot to learn with antibiotic resistance, but I think if we start with that, I think it can really change some things. But yeah, that's what I have.
All right, thank you so much. Let's check with Maria if she's back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So my name is Maria Zavala. I am actually studying the effect of atrazine on the Allium cepa root tips. And that's my area of research. When I started looking into the antibiotic resistant superbugs, I was focusing more on like the education part, because when I was reading, a lot of these drugs are building this resistance because we are overprescribing. And I think that our healthcare system, we're so quick to get in and out, in and out. We're not actually taking the time to talk to our patients to find out, hey, you know, is this really this infection? Does this require the antibiotics? We're just overprescribing and saying, hey, it'll take care of it. So it's going to be a whole system kind of change, with maybe developing faster tests for some of these infections, better tests to make sure that we're prescribing accurately, things like that. So that's my thoughts.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Leanna.
All right, so my name is Leanna, and my area of research is investigating household molds and as well as allergenic fungi within the Texas Panhandle. And just in correlation with what everyone says, I think our biggest concern is basically that a lot of people are just uneducated about the antibiotic resistance and how it can spread. And so I think that's probably the number one thing that we should probably do, is try to find more ways to spread awareness to the people about how to become educated on how to take proper dosage of their antibiotics that are prescribed, maybe seeking advice from their health professionals and saying, you know, is this really necessary? You know, do I really need to take these antibiotics that are being prescribed to me? You know, is there anything else that maybe they can take in place of that, you know, to kind of help reduce these antibiotic resistance, as well as maybe finding ways to properly dispose of these containers that are filled with the antibiotics as well, if they want to take it upon themselves and not take the dosage. But I mean, they should really know that they're really harming not only themselves, but the environment around them as well.
All right, very good. Thank you to all you all. Let's stop here. After that, so from here, what I'm going to do onward, like, you know, we'll cut, I'll trim that from here so that this is our own discussion. I had a meeting with Dr. D. Ghosh last evening, and so the good part, he's adjunct for West Texas A&M University, and as all of you know, he's working in the medical facility over there, and so he is serving for Aubrey. Aubrey, did we get his signature? I think we got his signature on your degree plan. We have to do the same thing for Anna, because he agreed to serve on Anna's degree plan as well. And I'll talk about Maria's and Betty's as well. And I'll get somebody else like Rexley or Peter Scott, somebody in your system, so that we can complete your degree plan in advance. That's one thing we have to do. We still need to do for Anna that one in advance. He agreed to help us for, I guess Aubrey is here still now. So we need to have a Zoom meeting sometimes with him, maybe after we settle down a little bit, maybe by the end of February, because he's busy with writing his grants till the mid of, till 20th of this month. And what we can do, we can utilize his expertise. He can help us. He had the background in different areas of biology, and he can definitely help us in getting into the, fulfilling our goal for research. Looks like Shelly has joined. Please turn on your camera so that we can see you, and unmute your microphone if you can, and then talk to us. Yes, there you go. We can see you now. So since you already have a PhD degree and you already know more about antibiotic resistance, we had discussion, everybody already talked about. So all you have to do, what we are asking you to just to talk about your background, and then of course your name, your background, and then about antibiotic resistance. What is your idea, usage, and everything. And I have sent you the PDF slides. You got some idea. All right, Shelly.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shelly Goyal, and I have a PhD, and it was on plant biotechnology and mainly secondary metabolites we were working on. And now I'm with Dr. Ghosh working on aeroallergens and PM 2.5. So my views on antibiotic resistance is, in my view, it's basically because of the overprescription, you can say. And in some of the countries, I mean, people avoid going to the doctor's office, and you can get the antibiotic without any prescription. So in that case, there's not a proper use of the antibiotics, and people use the broad spectrum antibiotics, and this all causes the antibiotic resistance. And you can say that the number of antibiotics now discovered is way less than the antibiotic resistant bugs which are evoluting. I mean, we are getting right now. So these are some of the reasons, and of course, we need to see more of the technology, the CRISPR, anything like that, so we can fight against these superbugs. And there are so many research going on fighting against these bugs.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, Shelly has pointed a major issue that is applicable to many of the Asian countries, because you can purchase your antibiotics from there over the counter, and you don't have to have any prescription from the physician. Here, the situation is different. Like, you have to visit a physician who will prescribe that, and it will directly go to the pharmacist who will cater you the antibiotic. The situation is different in many other countries of the world. So you have to stop that to be able to, like, fight with the antibiotic resistance. This is Dr. Ghosh again. I will continue the interview with some of the students and researchers. The first one we have here, Isha Ghosh, and she's coming. Have a seat, please. The first question I will ask, tell your name and what grade you are studying and what's your interest.
Hello, my name is Isha Ghosh. I am a senior in high school, and my interest is in the medical field to become a psychiatrist.
All right, very good. So my first question is, did you hear about antibiotic resistant bacteria or superbugs?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your idea about it? How it can do harm to mankind or anything, if you can tell?
I think that antibiotic superbugs come because they mutate from the bacteria that infects a person when they don't finish the antibiotic pills that they take. If they have a pill prescribed to them for, say, 14 days, and they only take it 7 out of the 14 days, then they're not completely killed off. So they develop a mutation, and they become mutated to become stronger and fight the antibiotics, which is bad for the humans, because then we won't be able to, we'll have to keep making more pills to kill the bugs, and they will keep mutating. So basically your point is human being is responsible for developing this antibiotic resistance in bacteria. Yes. So improper usage and improper disposal, like some people throw away the antibiotics in the environment, and that can generate the mutated strain of bacteria, right? Yes. Okay. So it's better to have respect to the physicians, whatever they are prescribing,
like you should take the pills, all kinds of medicine should be followed, especially the antibiotics, because if you don't take the antibiotics properly and regularly as prescribed by the doctor, it can generate antibiotic resistance, right? So it's a huge number, and it could be a major problem all over the world. Like today we know with the cases of COVID-19, right? So the similar way, if we have antibiotic resistant bacteria, then that can be coming from one corner of the world, it can get spreaded all over the world, right? So what would be your suggestions to the people about how to take the antibiotic and how to use them properly?
I believe that they should finish all the pills, and if they don't, properly dispose of them with the physician's consent, and properly dispose of them with the right packaging, and not just throw them wherever they can, so it doesn't mutate or go infect somewhere else.
All right, very good. Thank you so much. Anything else you want to say?
No.
All right, thank you. Bye now.